When we talk about human rights, most people think of universal freedoms: freedom of speech, religion, and the right to live with dignity. But how we understand and justify these rights can vary depending on the worldview we come from. In this video, we are going to explore two influential frameworks: an Islamic conception of human rights and what is commonly referred to as the Western or universal conception of human rights. We'll look at how they align, where they differ, and why those differences matter. Let's start with the Islamic conception of human rights. I must say that this is just one Islamic conception of human rights. There are many. This Islamic conception is grounded in the Islamic legal tradition, drawing on the Qur'an, the Sunnah, which are the teachings and practices of the Prophet Muhammad, and centuries of jurisprudential development. At its core, it upholds the idea that human dignity is a gift from God, and that rights are inseparable from responsibilities. In this view, communal and religious values play a central role in safeguarding human rights. The emphasis is not only on individual freedoms, but also on social justice, community welfare, and religious obligations. Islamic human rights frameworks do recognize individual rights, including freedom of expression, conscience, and religion. But they also give significant weight to collective rights, such as the right to live in a peaceful and secure environment, access to social and economic welfare, and the right to belong to a just and morally upright society. A range of women's rights is acknowledged as important, but there is often a stronger emphasis on the role of women within the family and community, highlighting duties alongside rights. Ultimately, this Islamic perspective stresses the importance of both individual and collective responsibility in creating a just society, one where Islamic values and principles actively shape the promotion and protection of human rights. Now let's turn to what many consider to be Western conception of human rights, which is typically based on secular values and the legacy of the Enlightenment. This framework centers on individual autonomy, freedom, and the inherent dignity of every human being, regardless of religion, race, gender, or background. Here, the focus is largely on civil and political rights, freedom of speech, religion, and assembly, as well as the right to participate in democratic processes. Over time, this has expanded to include economic, social, and cultural rights, such as access to education, healthcare, and a basic standard of living. Gender equality and non-discrimination are seen as foundational principles, and the role of the state is critical in protecting and enforcing these rights through legislation and policy. This approach leans heavily on international law and human rights treaties, seeing global cooperation as key to promoting and protecting rights across borders. So, how do these two conceptions compare? First, the sources of authority differ. Western frameworks are based on secular, liberal values and legal systems, while Islamic ones draw from the Qur'an, Sunnah, and religious legal tradition. When it comes to the focus, the Western conception emphasizes individual freedom and autonomy, while the Islamic conception places more weight on social justice, religious duty, and the welfare of the community. The Islamic perspective highlights the individual as part of a larger moral and religious community. This leads to a stronger focus on collective rights, like the right to a just society and economic welfare, which are seen as equally important as individual rights. Both traditions do emphasize human dignity and the worth of the individual. However, the Islamic tradition tends to anchor this in family, community, and spiritual accountability, while the Western tradition often centers it in personal liberty and legal protection. Finally, it's important to note that the Islamic understanding of human rights is not monolithic. Interpretations vary widely across regions and schools of thought, shaped by local cultures, politics, and historical experiences. In the end, both the Islamic and Western conceptions of human rights seek to protect human dignity and promote justice. While their foundations and emphasis differ, both contribute valuable insights to the ongoing global conversation about how we live together with fairness, compassion, and respect. Thanks for watching. We hope this deepened your understanding of Islam. Be sure to check out the other videos in this series. Keep exploring. Don't forget to subscribe.